You'll be doing most of the talking for the first few minutes, you guys.
Yeah, when you first approach a woman, you want to give value. As we discussed, most guys go into a conversation with a woman and want to suck value from her by asking lame, boring interview types of questions. But we're going to give value by being funny, we're going to talk about interesting things, and really getting her intrigued.
In a way, we don't want to make her think too much in the very beginning. All right, we're showing our personality all the while appearing like we don't care what happens and that we are the selector.
Okay, guys, after you open, you can link a few more openers together, then take it from there. Since there's an infinite number of possibilities for conversation, we're going to give you a few good examples of how a really good conversation might go, with the general framework being the same for whatever type of conversation you want to go with or that might manifest by its own accord.
Good. The conversation should flow as a normal conversation would between your friends. What we're doing is offering conversational content, then prying open what she says and building on it in a funny and unique way.
Yep, we're steering it, but also letting it flow naturally, all the while throwing in attraction building techniques and gambits. We are at the bar, and I go to the bar, and there's a mirror at the bar, and I obviously walked up where there's a really cute girl right next to me, and I'm looking at her in the mirror, and I'm looking at her, and I'm kind of just doing my thing, and right when she made eye contact with me, I nudged her because she saw it was obviously me, and then she nudged me back, and then I nudged a little bit harder, and then she nudged back. And I had over my arm, as I explained last time, I said, let me ask you a question. One of my best friends is a girl. She just got this new boyfriend. He won't let her come out tonight. I mean, they're not even hanging out. He's just making her stay home. Isn't that messed up? So when I said, let me ask you a question, she like rolled her eyes at me. Did I tell you about this? She's like, oh God, here we go. Like pickup line, right? But I knew what she was doing, and we're going to explain to you what she was doing. And I did not let it affect me. I just kept my voice the same tone. I kept speaking, no worries at all. And interestingly enough, her response was like really angry. She's like, yeah. She's like, you know what? If I had a guy like that, I would never let him ball and chain me like that. She's like, if he was trying to like tell me I couldn't go out, I would like break up with him in a second. That's so lame. And she's like totally pissed. And obviously my reaction, I wanted to be like, damn chick, relax, dude. You're coming unpeeled. But girls will do this. They'll just throw bitchiness at you to see if it affects you. And instead what I did is I was kind of just giving her a wry smile, almost like I was entertained by her acting up like that and showing that I was completely unaffected by it. Then what I said is I said, you know what? When I look at you, I can actually tell that about you. I can tell that, you know, you're the kind of girl that doesn't take any crap. And to be honest with you, I don't either. Like, I don't take any shit. And that's why we never get along. Like if you and I went out, and she's like looking at me like fuck you, you know? And I'm like, you know what? If you and I went out to dinner, we just get like in a massive food fight. Like just within like 3 minutes, bam, massive food fight. And like we'd walk out of the restaurant just covered in mustard and ketchup. There'd be like pickles stuck to our forehead. And I'm like, that's not gonna work for me. And she, at this point, she kind of chuckled. She's like, ha ha ha. And then I said, but you know, I bet when you were little, you probably were really open and genuine. And through life's experiences, you know, through seeing how people are, you've probably kind of hardened up a little bit. And it's harder for people to win over your trust. But once they do, I'm sure that genuineness is still within you. At this point, just the bitch shield is fucking gone. Gone. That did it, because it's called cold reading. I said that. And come on, guys. Who isn't that true for? I know for me, when I was little, I was genuine, and life's experiences have hardened me up where I don't let people in so easily. It's true for everybody, but when you just say it to a girl, bam, it opens up. So she's just like, oh my God. And I was like, well, you know, back at that time when you were really genuine like that, what did you want to be? And she's like, huh. She's like, I wanted to be like Supergirl. I was like, wow. I'm like, I've been waiting for this day to speak to Supergirl in person, right in front of me. I'm like, are you wearing the Supergirl outfit underneath the outfit you have there? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, the newspapers say that outfit's bulletproof. Is that true? Does it reflect bullets? She's like, yeah, but sometimes it like chafes sometimes and it's kind of uncomfortable. Ha ha ha. So then I went into a story and I said, you know, when I was a kid, I grew up by Disneyland, and I wanted to be the dude in Disneyland that picks up the trash with one of those like trash sticks. because I thought it would be so cool to be in Disneyland every day. And I'm like, isn't it cute how kids are so innocent? They see something like that and they're just like, yeah, I want to be that. And she's like, yeah, kids are really cute. And then I was like, well, what do you want to be now? Like, what are you doing? Because I was pretty sure she was a student. And she said, well, I'm studying to become a veterinarian. And then at this point, I was like, oh, really? I'm like, huh, that's too bad. And I like turned my body language away from her. She's like, why? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, like animal lovers just hate me. And she's like, well, why? Are you like a hunter or like a scientist or something like that? And I'm like, no, the truth is like I love animals and animals absolutely love me. So if there was a cat right here, right now, or like a dog, animal lovers hate me because the cat would just come up to me and like not want to go near them. So if like you were here, the cat wouldn't even go anywhere near you. They would love me so much more than they love you. And she's like, no, they love me more. And I'm like, hell no. I'll be like holding the cat and like trying to get him over to you, and he would just be like clawing into me. And she's like, no, no, no. I'm like, yeah. And then I said, yeah, that's basically it. And once again, we'd go over to dinner at our friend's house. The dog would jump in my lap. I'd be petting him, and everybody would be like, isn't she the veterinarian? Why isn't the dog loving her? Then we would get in a food fight and I'd have to walk home with pickles on my forehead again. And she like really cracked her up. This point, she's like smacking my arm and getting good attraction. And then I go, hey, I actually just moved here. What are those like birds called that they have out here? They're like a little bit smaller than crows. And she's like, yeah, I know what bird that is, but I don't know what it's called. And I was like, wait, you don't know what it's called? She's like, no. And I'm like, aren't you studying to become a veterinarian? Isn't that like your job to know that? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just teasing you. It's cool. Anyway, where I grew up, they have these little birds. They're like mini ravens. And I told her what I call the little pelican story. And dude, I just figured out this story to tell to girls like literally like a month ago. It's just an award winner. Like this story kills. What happened is when I was like 14, I found a bird that fell out of its nest, and kids were like kicking it and like trying to kill it, and I like saved it, took it to the veterinarian. They said I couldn't leave it with them. I had to take it home or just like let it die. So I took it home. My mom let me keep it. I raised him up by like feeding him oatmeal out of a syringe, and I raised him to the point where he could finally fly again. He was matured. He was flying. Then my mom's like, look, you gotta let him go. He needs to be in his natural habitat. So we drove over to this place where birds of his kind congregate, and I let him go. I got out of the car, let him go. He flew up to the top with all of his buddies, and I was like, bye, little pelican, see you later. And I was kind of like crying, and I turned around to get in the car. And you guys, I shit you not, this is a true story. The bird flew back and like landed on my shoulder, and I was like, huh? Oh, and like I started crying, and my mom was like, oh, and my mom's like, well, being it that he flew back to you after you released him, you can keep him. So I kept the bird, and I'm telling this girl the story, and dude, her face is just like, because I'm taking her through the ups and downs that we talked about. I saved a bird, and then I was gonna let him go down her, and then he came back, and then and this is true too, he got lost. He flew away for like 2 days, and then I was crying, and I saw him like way high. This all happened, and I explained it to her. Bam, immediate, like the attraction was just like on. It was on for sure. So I'm like, here, give me your hand. Bam, I grabbed her hand. I'm like, here, I'm gonna show you something cool. And I took her over to the table that we had, and while holding her hand, I like squeezed it, and she squeezed back, so I knew that it was on. Took her to the table, made her qualify herself to me, made her work for me, and then it was over.
That's good. And your story really took, if you guys get really good, like Clutch at these stories, you'll take them out of their environment. You'll take them out of reality, and you'll put them in a whole nother state. And
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like tunnel vision, you guys, and they'll just focus solely on you. Nothing else will distract them.
Yeah, so that was good. I mean, what we both did, we both came home last night with a lot of phone numbers, got some good practice. I mean, that you guys will be able to go out there and just do that every time. It's all about kind of changing your thinking from the normal, just like BS conversation to conversations that elicit attraction. Once you get there, it's just on.
Okay. Now, what you guys want to do is construct the whole conversation in your head, and every answer with your rebuttal and the gambit that goes along with it, all pre-planned and ready to go.
Exactly. That's what you guys want to do. You're going to go, we did this. Dude, I did this. Did you do it? Like, had it all planned. Okay, if she says this, I'm going to say this. If she says this, I'm going to say that. And you go out there and you think that you're going to kill it because you have this freaking, like, this blueprint of everything you're going to say. But really, it doesn't work, you guys. What you need to have is a general skill set. Many gambits in your arsenal that we're going to teach you, and a lot of them, please, you can create by yourself, and an ability to talk about stuff in a fun and interesting way while working in the attraction building techniques we're about to show you.
Okay, so there's a game you guys can play. This is what Clutch and I do. It's a lot of fun. It's great to use at the bar when you're just out of things to talk about. If you're ever sitting there just looking blank at each other's face, use this one, all right? One guy will say just a random subject, and the other guy has to talk about it in an interesting way.
Yeah, this is so good, you know, and it's like if you don't have friends that are in this with you, you can just take a magazine and open it to a page and there's a piano there, bam, talk about a piano. What this does is when you are in a conversation and somebody starts talking about, I don't know, synchronized swimming or something, then you have the ability through practice to just like go with it and just be funny and point out funny stuff. And really what this is developing your wit.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so like if I said, I don't know, corduroy, what would you say?
Corduroy?
Corduroy.
Yeah, you know, actually it's funny because when I was a kid, I used to wear like really tight corduroy pants. And my brother would always laugh at me and make fun of me because anytime I would come running up the street, he would hear me before he'd see me because I'd be going like zip, 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 zip. Dude, I just thought about that, like the corduroy pants, yeah. Thanks for choosing corduroy, man. Fuck, dude. Talk about a random thing.
Yeah, corduroy is kind of loud. People walking down the hallway in a silent hallway.
Why couldn't you have chosen like surfing or something? Man, I dug myself out of that one. All right, here's an easy one, bro. Cat.
Okay, cat. If a girl mentions a cat, my parents actually have a cat. It's a pretty unique cat. It will actually jump on people's backs. And, you know, their reaction is like, they fly back. Well, this actually makes the situation a lot worse because his name's Koa, and what he'll do is he'll dig his claws in even deeper.
It's happened to me.
So you really got to be careful. If you go to my parents' house, you know, you got to watch out for this cat. You got to watch your back because it will jump.
Yeah, exactly. So just like that, you know, go back and forth with yourself. It takes practice. You can even make flashcards. Again, you guys, getting good with women takes work. I gave you a whole big speech about public speaking. I'm going to do it again. If you want to get good with chicks, you have to practice this stuff. It's not only about going out, but it's about really working on yourself and getting better at it. I don't believe that we're necessarily born with wit. I believe it comes with practice. Yes, some people are wittier than others. Some people are naturally funnier than others. But this is something that you can definitely work on. Yeah. And I mean, we've worked on it, and it's crazy in conversation. Plus, dude, when you're going out and talking to 10 sets a night, you just naturally get good. Mm-hmm. You can kind of start to predict what girls are going to say, especially to like your openers that you use a lot. But you know, this thing, being able to like talk about anything in a quick sort of witty way is huge.
And that's why, you know, we encourage you to talk to and use your wit. Practice your wit at the grocery store. That is like, or Jamba Juice, like this guy always goes. You know, it'll really get you thinking. Yeah. So let's get into some of our gambits and techniques we use in the initial conversation.
Let's do it. Onward.
Go.
Hey, this is Mark saying from Alpha Symposium. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And once you've done that, please click the link below for your free seminar where I give away tons of secrets you won't find in my YouTube videos. All right, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.